As law enforcement and the Senate continue to pursue accountability for the Capitol riot insurrection, we're also seeing more examples of a wider reaction. In an insurrection that horrified and captivated Americans, some 30 million people we now know watched coverage on television, rivaling major sports events. World leaders spoke out and condemned the attack on democracy. And while some of the political world's understandably moving on to inauguration and governing, we're seeing reactions across our culture. Many nonpartisan companies are condemning the violence, supporting wider conversations about radicalism. Cultural leaders of all different stripes speaking out. The singer Demi Lovato says she's actually at work on new music that she hopes will tackle these riots and related issues, while rapper Marlon Craft has a new song challenging cliches about American unity, arguing the U.S. cannot try to be unified until people really confront things that should not be negotiated, from scientific truths about COVID to the white supremacy problem. Take a quick look at this new searing song.
To defeat white supremacy, you gotta first want to defeat white supremacy. I don't think most of us really do. How many white mirror convos really bearing fruit? Fake tweets about how you love everyone. You won't even wear a mask to save somebody's grandmother.
Kraft is 27 years old, speaking from a different generation than the political leadership class, and he's not taking anything for granted. In fact, in this song, he argues that without the once-in-a-generation pandemic, Trump might have won re-election. And he echoes historians who warn that a more skilled autocrat could still better exploit the weaknesses that Trump showed in the U.S. system.
Truth is, if not for COVID, Trump would have won re-election in a landslide. So we evaded Armageddon for good old store brand depression. But if a leader more savvy and less sociopathic with true fascist aspirations come along, it's gonna be tragic. 74 million proved if the right rhetoric is used. We could end up on the wrong side of World War II.
Fascinating to see the wider cultural reckoning in real time. Michael Steele's back with us. Quite a song, huh?
No, I have to tell you, I watched that video and I watched it a couple of times, and I was struck by a lot that Marlon said in there. And, you know, she's one of these artists, she's just like, okay, can we talk about this? Because you hit a couple of nerves with me, and I had to write down a couple of those lyrics that really kind of struck that chord. So I think he's got something important to say, you know, and it'd be good to talk about it.
Yeah, well, you know what? Let's talk about it, because I have extra news. We like to go big on Fridays, and Marlon Craft is here with us as well. Sir, welcome to the beat. Your first time.
What's up? What's up? What's going on?
Hey,
I'm good, man. I'm good. Yeah. I'm here in my quarantine apartment chilling.
Yeah. Well, you're chilling. You're chilling, sir, but you're putting the heat on, as I think you know and our viewers know. Michael Steele's a pretty experienced political expert. He was moved by it. We noticed the video. Tell us what you're getting across in this new song.
Yeah, I mean, well, there's a lot of stuff in there, but I think for me, you know, the irony of it is that a lot of people think that I wrote this as a response to the attack on the Capitol, but I actually turned it in that morning, and I'd written it about a month prior. But I think for those of us that have been paying attention, the handwriting has been on the wall for this. And I think there's been kind of this grand exhalation right now that's going on. And while people deserve a brief moment of relief, I feel like the white supremacy that allowed Trump to reign and that we saw at the Capitol still exists in the halls of our Congress and people that are supposed to represent us and in the fabric and the DNA of our nation. So, you know, my thing is with the song is to give hope, but a true hope as an artist, the job is to do. And that true hope is grounded in struggle and in fact.
Michael?
Yeah, you know, like I said, Marlon, I watched this about 2 or 3 times, and there were 3 sets of lyrics that jumped out at me, and I'd love to get your response. As I said to Ari, it'd be just good to talk about what you wrote, because the reality of it is you wrote this before January 6th. So that says a lot about what already is before what happened. You noted in the lyrics, they told you your sins were not sins. That was, to me, a shout out to my evangelical brothers who placated a lot of this in the guise of, you know, the holier than thou crowd. Then you went on and you said, we live in our own noose before we live in our own truth. And that spoke to me as well, because we hang ourselves every day with the lies that we perpetrate. And then you find it up saying you can't, I love this one, you can't fake lightning, but you can plan thunder. And knowing what you just said about when you put this in before the thunder that fell on January 6th, that says a lot about culturally what's been going on. Could you talk to those lyrics and how they really kind of shaped not just the song, but shaped the environment we're in right now?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even realize, I guess they feel prescient reading them now, but to be honest, every moment has felt sort of like this along the way. I mean, I guess I'll go backwards, like you can't plan lightning, you can't fake lightning, but you can plan thunder. The lightning is the truth. The lightning is something that actually happens, that is fact, that is nature. The thunder is the sound, and there's a time in between the lightning and the thunder where for whatever actually happens, you recognize and register what's going on. And what's going on in our politics and in our world and in our media is that in that in-between, people are lying, and dogmatically so, and people are receiving thunder, which feels big and grand and dangerous, and these things just aren't true. It's a charade, And then the other lyric with the noose and the truth. I mean, for me, I'm an artist, so it's like I'm not really here to get into specifics of policy or anything like that, especially not today. But for me, it's about the psychological condition. And white supremacy is a psychological condition. It's an institutional condition. And until we really acknowledge what's going on in the mirror inside of ourselves and our own psyches, I don't see things really changing. And what was the first quote? I'm sorry.
They told you your sins were not sins.
Yeah, and that's a really important one,
and
because
Marlon,
in that
warn you for TV, because I got Joy Reid coming up. You got 20 seconds to break this one.
Okay, well, that look, man, this is what it's about. It's about working people, and it's about the proletariat. And the corporate class has been telling poor white people and minorities and middle class white people and minorities that they don't have the same struggle for years and years and years, and dividing them through things like religion and telling them that these awful atrocities they're doing aren't awful. And then that's what it is.
Good stuff, man.
I appreciate it. I appreciate both of you having this dialogue. And thank you for your work, Marlon, and speaking out and giving us that history. I think folks can go find this song, Marlon Craft, State of the Union. And I'd love to get you two together and continue this. Thanks to Marlon and Michael. Have a great weekend. That does it for the beat, so we can toss to Joy. But also, we've got a special this Sunday night. I want you to know about it or